Alright, what's up everybody? We are back at episode 2, Memphis Raptors. It's draft day, homies. It's time to build the future of this team. It's time to get some good players, I guess. No other way to put it. We gotta build this boat from the bottom up. So I did a lot of thinking about what I'm gonna do this episode, especially, I mean, for the rest of the season, and I'm definitely considering tanking. I'm considering. I don't know yet if I'm going to entirely commit to tanking, because I do have two 86 defensemen, a couple 84, 83. I mean, my D-core is incredible, but my forwards aren't. Like, I just don't really see very much top end. I don't really see anything that I can particularly use to win games, win playoff series up front. So I don't know if you have any idea what I should do. If I should try to maybe trade Klingberg at home in the draft to trade up a little bit and to kind of top out my future and win the cup in 3 or 4 seasons. Maybe that could be something I do. Let me know in the comments. So let's take a look at the draft class, because the first thing that we're going to do is obviously do the draft. Then after that, we'll get to our contracts and start the season, hopefully, at some point. If you guys want me to sim games and watch them, or if you want me to play or do CPU versus CPU games, just watching them on the stream, maybe get a little bit of commentary in there, I can do that. Just let me know. As of now, I'm going to plan on just auto simming everything, so I'm not going to do any sort of like visual commentary. Just whatever happens in the game happens. We can kind of forget about the watching aspect of the game. But initially, my first thought whenever it comes to this draft is I kind of want to draft a forward. Looking at the forwards, I don't see very much talent there. I do see a couple of future forwards. Kotkaniemi is probably the biggest one. I think I have another elite potential down here. Yeah, Nolan Patrick. So I do have 2 forwards in the system that can develop. But besides that, the very best forward on the roster is Andrew Copp, who's only 84 overall. Looking at defense, the potential here is definitely lower. I don't have any elites. I do have a couple top 4 D potential. The top 4 potential on defense is obviously a little bit less than a top 6 potential on forward. So, I don't know. Ekholm is old. Schultz is starting to climb in age a little bit, but he's down. I need to double check on how old is Schultz. Go and take a look. The age of the defense first. We can kind of get into analyzing this draft class a little bit. But my initial thought is there's a lot of things that I can do with this draft. It just really depends on how I want to build the team. So, Schultz is 30. He's actually my second oldest defenseman. I thought Schultz was younger than that. He's a year younger than Ekholm. Klingberg's 28, which scares me a little bit. But he's also on a 4 mil contract for these next 2 years. It's not going to be too cap heavy. Obviously, there's nobody on this team who I feel is overpaid. I mean, I have Ekholm at 86 for 3.7. That's a steal. Klingberg, 86 at 4.2. That's pretty good. I feel I can do a little bit better than that, but that's a solid contract. Schultz is 84 at 3.9. That's probably going to be the first defenseman I move in the draft, I'd say. He's easily the worst contracted defensemen that I have on the team. As for forwards, I mean, we have Kopp. He's 84. He's 26. He's on a good contract, so that's kind of his redeeming factor. Mangiapane, Roslovic, everybody's kind of in that 21 through 27 range, besides Foligno. But Foligno is kind of the flex player in the forwards, in my opinion, because he's going to be around for a long time. He's old. He'll be on his contract until 24, 25, which means he'll probably be 30, 31, 32 years old at the end. So, I mean, Foligno could be one we keep around for a long time. He's definitely on a pretty good contract. His extension brings his salary up, I'm sorry, a little bit. But it's not anything too crazy. It looks like I might have to re-sign a couple players in the near future too. But right now it seems that both ends of the ice are pretty similar. Goalies, my future is pretty set. I have 3 pretty young goalies that are going to be around for a long time, cheap contracts. I don't see any problem with goaltending. I'm not going to need to draft a goalie anytime soon. I mean, I could take Wallstedt, but he would realistically be a second round pick probably, I think. Oftentimes in these franchise modes, teams will reach down a little bit and grab a goalie pretty high. I don't know. I mean, with franchise potential, he's a low franchise, so I doubt he's actually going to be that good, but snagging somebody like him could open up the possibility of trading Jari and then having 3 really good goalies to develop. But we won't worry about that until we get further down in the draft. So I pick 5th overall. That leaves me kind of between Brant Clark, William Eklund, Mason McTavish. Obviously the real life draft was today. Let me know what you guys thought of that. You thought that any certain teams made out well. I'm a Penguins fan. I thought the Penguins picked a good player. He's a defenseman. I can't remember his name. Pickering, I believe. I might have that wrong, but he was one of the prospects I was looking for them to draft, so I was pretty excited when I saw that. But with the 5th overall pick, I'm guessing probably the top 4 get picked in order. My team, I'll check on it real quick, but the forwards on this team are predominantly Canadian, American. I don't believe there are anybody besides like maybe there's a couple more than I thought. Wenberg's from Sweden, Kotkaniemi's Finnish, Sharon Govich is from Belarus. That's kind of a wild card. I seriously don't see any sort of chem happening there. I guess Belarus would be Russian chemistry. I don't know. Somebody would have to check on that for me. Lindblom, I could see him playing with Wenberg, obviously the 2 Swedes. Besides that, everybody, and Timashov. Timashov's going to be in the AHL. I seriously don't see him playing in the end this season. Timashov, he's from Sweden? That was correct? Yeah, he's from Sweden. So, I think staying away from drafting in Russia might be a good idea. I don't see any dominant Russian players in the system at all. I mean, drafting Eklund wouldn't be a bad option, but he's going to be very limited with where he can play. His scheme fit seems to work pretty well. I need to check the scheme fit again before I finalize the start of the draft. Brant Clark, obviously a good pick if I want to build my defense. My defense is old, so my forward core is realistically going to be getting, or isn't going to be getting old anytime soon. They're all pretty much in their early 20s. My D-core has a couple older members in it. Obviously, Schultz, Ekholm. Brant Clark might be the pick. He has at least elite edges. I don't think he has any more than that. Tape to tape, probably. That could pass up on somebody with guaranteed 2 factors, 3 factors, superstars, X factors. Gunther really interests me though. I don't see him missing out on either of those, and he has relatively good scheme fit. He has overload. So reaching down to get Gunther could maybe be a good idea. I don't know how he develops. I don't think I'm going to get McTavish just because of his potential. We have at least a guaranteed elite somewhere in here. Gunther isn't guaranteed to be elite, and I don't think he actually turns out to be elite. So if Brant Clark's on the board, I think I'd probably take him. And then everybody above Clark. If Clark does get taken, then I just take whoever is left in the top 5. Because everybody in here has a ton of abilities. I don't see myself drafting Kenins. Just due to the fact he's from Russia. Pajot could be a very, very good pick. If he's still there, which he won't be, but in the instance that Clark gets picked over Pajot, then I think I'll probably take Pajot over Clark. Eklund. If Clark gets taken, I probably take Eklund. I don't see why I wouldn't. Let's take a look down here at the second round. See maybe I can plan for it a little bit. I pick third, I think. I pick third in every round. After I do pick third in every round after the first. I got really unlucky with the first, picking 5th overall. That was kind of a bad draw. I should have picked up the top 3. But, oh well, I'm going to be getting a good prospect there anyways, so let's head down and see what I can get down here. There's actually another Belarusian. Belarusian? Somebody from Belarus. I'm fairly certain that's Belarus's flag. If anybody notices that isn't the flag of Belarus, let me know. Maybe I'm mistaken. It's been a long time since I've studied world flags. Medvinov, he is exactly at my pick at 36. I can see him being around, but I can't exactly bank on it. If Ratty's there, I think Ratty's probably the pick, just because of there's such a high risk reward with him, and I've been known to gamble on picking people who have a low, how do I phrase this, a low probability to have a high potential, because, I mean, realistically, he has 2 bars, so it's slightly inaccurate, which means he can probably go down to top 6, I think, at worst. I think he can go down to top 6 at worst, which, no matter what, he's guaranteed to be good. His bouncer ability has an accuracy, it has an accurate trait on it, whatever it's called. I don't see myself picking Johnston. Medvinov, if he's still there, wouldn't be terrible, but if it's between Ratty and Medvinov, I don't see myself picking Medvinov over Ratty. Ratty could also be picked way before just because he's franchise. I don't know how CPUs value that potential it could be something good for them. I don't see myself picking down to Hellenius. Bolduc didn't turn out very well for me in another league. I don't think he has either of those abilities. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Mironov, I don't know if he has abilities or not. I should know this by now, but I don't. Head down to the third round. Wannaville. I don't think this is the same Quenneville who turns out to be elite in my other franchise. I don't think it is. Gord. I seriously don't think that's him. Because I could pick him, but that would require a trade up. I'm not really willing to do. I picked 69th overall. Svozil is an inaccurate elite. That's intriguing. So at worst, he'd be a top 9 defenseman. At best, he'd be franchised. I don't see that happening realistically. Anything above this, I probably won't see, so look down to like 69 through. Riker Evans is really good. He's always developed very well for me. He's a Canadian defenseman. But if I do pick Brant Clark in that area, then I probably don't take Evans. This could be the place where I take the goalie, too. I just realized I miscalculated on my math a little bit. So he's ranked 87th among goalies. Goalies usually start going in the third round. I mean, that is a huge potential to be. So, I mean, to have a goalie like that, that's a big risk. I mean, I could be missing out on a good defenseman. I could be missing out on something. But the more I think about it, the more, if this draft is good, I kind of do want to tank. I mean, I just don't have anything. I don't have anything I think that can actually go anywhere this season. With this franchise, I want to win cups. I don't just want to make the playoffs every year. I've had franchises where I make the playoffs every year and compete pretty well, and they've turned out really, I mean, they've turned out really decent. They're always fun because you have a chance to do something. But if you, like, I don't know. I want to be guaranteed a cup. I want to win. I want to, I don't know, bring some titles to Memphis. I don't know. I might chalk it up to, if I take Brant Clark, if the goalie's still there, I think I'll take the goalie. His X factors and superstars just, I mean, they're not any guaranteed. He has a 1-year ETA, which tells me that he's probably pretty highly rated. I'd probably guess that he's somewhere in between like 72 and 70, like 77 overall. I mean, if his franchise potential actually does get realized, then I could definitely see him being like in that 80 to 82 range, but I don't think that he is. And realistically, with that goalie that I took from Buffalo in the draft, I don't need him. I don't need him at all, and there's other goalies that I can take later on down. But he's a franchise. He could be a franchise goalie. Let me know, what do you guys think? Should I take a goalie? Should I take a goalie that high in the third round? Is that worth missing out on a forward? A D-man? I'm definitely going forward in the second round. No matter what. I mean, I either go D forward or forward D, and Brant Clark is too exciting to pass up on. To me, anything else... anything else just wouldn't make much sense. I mean, Riker Evans has historically done really well for me. Moberg will probably be there. His scheme fit doesn't seem to work out. but he does have a low elite potential, so at the worst, he could be a bottom 6. That's not bad. I mean, anybody with elite potential in the 3rd round, even if it's very inaccurate, I believe they have a floor of bottom 6 potential, which also means that they could not develop at all. So having a fairly certain top 9, top 6 is infinitely better than taking a chance on that elite Tuzolino. That's a name that I recognize. Can't remember if he turns out or not, if I've ever picked him before. So where do I pick again? Is 102. I'd Kosa marked Kosa. He could fall down that low. I don't think he will. I think pretty much all the goalies are going to go back to back to back in the 3rd round. Or do I take a goalie in the 2nd? I mean, if Ratty's there, I think Ratty's the pick. Because I need a forward, I need skaters first, and then 3rd round, if there's a goalie there that I really want, I could take a goalie there. Now, this also presents the idea, if I'm actually going to commit to a tank, do I trade Ekholm? That's interesting. Do I trade Ekholm? We'll value Ekholm at the very beginning of the draft. I'll try to find a trade for him and see where other teams kind of price him trade value wise. I don't know if he's going to be any good or not, like if he's going to actually carry a lot of value. I assume if they carry his contract, then, or put his contract into effect, then I assume he'd probably be at least worth a 3rd. Butler. One that I target. We'll mark Butler just off of virtue of his potential. Kosa. DeFazio is an American. DeFazio. He has an overload. Mark him. He's got a bottom 6 potential. It's pretty low. It's one of that goalies in that big class. I mean, having another... Hey, look who it is. It's our old friend, Logan Mailloux. If I do another series, I can see myself taking Mailloux for the memes. Obviously, yeah, some of you know Mailloux's history of kind of being a jack. Can't say that. Monetization, I love you. YouTube. Absolute butthole, I guess, to put it nicely. I think around here, but yeah, could maybe see me do a couple of picks. I posted in a couple of community discords about drafted a guy named B Rabbit, which if I know I've made it noted before that I'm a huge music fan. So having a guy on my team named B Rabbit I jumped on that opportunity as soon as I could. It was a 7th round pick, and he's actually been turning out really well. He's up from 50 overall to 60 overall in one season, so that's pretty exciting. I mean, 7th round pick turning out to be a 60 overall pretty instantly. That's enough to make any GM smile for the most part. This could be one here. Hadfield. His stats or skills kind of a little bit worse. It's not Kirby Doc. Who's that? Colton Doc. Definitely marking you here. I don't think I'm going to be picking in your area. But I think I'm going to try sticking in North America for the draft for the most part. Elite potential could turn out alright. I mean, drafting Finns couldn't be the worst thing, I guess. Actually, take a look at Stringer. You don't really have good skills, but I'll mark you anyways. So I pick 99 plus 33 would take me to 132, then to 160, 165. So it has this area here marked. Obviously, I'm not going to mark any of them, but all three of these, this actually looks nice. He's a smaller forward, but I've always kind of liked having smaller forwards on the team, having faster players. Nilstrup doesn't look like the best player. Lawrence, his skills excite me. Having A's and B's and C's, only A's, B's, and C's. This one actually decent top 9 potential. I'm definitely marking Suni here. Piernan was my goalie in another league. Piernan is fine. He turns out good, but not awesome. So if I do want to take a goalie in general just for backup for Luukkonen in the AHL, Piernan could be a move. I just don't see him lasting down to that pick, just because of the fact that he is, well, a goalie. So, I mean, Brophy I think I have in another league too. Alright. This being said, look good on a couple picks. I'm going to sort by gem busts just so I can see if there are any gems in this draft. I don't think there are any. There aren't. That being said, I'm going to go and check my scheme and see what I'm going to be drafting around, and then head into the draft. So I'm really looking to build for the future, I think is probably the best thing. Oh, his stats are actually really good for a first-year coach. He's 55, so that being said, might retire soon, but his teaching is an A- is ridiculous right away. Oftentimes you'll see head coaches with lower teaching ability. His coach influence is only a B. Sometimes head coaches will have higher than that. I mean, in total, I think we have a really, really good head coach. So, I do remember this is all over the place. The D-men are shooters, though. So if I can draft shooters on D, if they're not obviously like a top 10 talent, like I drafted, I think it's an auto-created player. His name's Kimmo Toivonen. I don't know if any of you have seen him in other leagues. I don't see him in this draft class. I think he was in this draft class. I can't remember if he's actually a real player or if he's auto-generated. I think he's auto-generated, but he doesn't fit into my scheme at all. He turned out to be really good. So drafting somebody with a top talent like Brandt Clark, even if he's not a shooting D-man, it's not going to hurt me any. So the line strategies, I mean, I can literally draft anything. It looks like I'm pretty much going to have flexibility to do whatever I want. So the fourth line I have noticed is a dump and chase line. And the way I'm going to remember that is it plays a lot like my team in real life. That strategy is very similar to how my line plays in real life. I know it's a stupid way to remember it, but that's how I'm going to put it simply. So, overload, carry, shoot, efficient, don't block for the first line. So if I'm drafting high, that's probably what I want. If I'm drafting a second round forward, maybe gun for them to go in the second line. Yeah. Alright. My second line is behind the net. Noted. Let's get our draft game on. I have draft interviews to do. Do I want to do them? Those are kind of boring. But I'll interview Brandt Clark just to kind of see what where his head's at. Maybe interview Eklund. Just go with his play style. Go for readiness. We'll go for his actual. So he wants to develop a year. He's an offensive defenseman, so with the opportunity to be or to fit in that scheme would be a good thing. Let's go with the skills. So he's gonna be a fast D-man. It's never a bad thing. If I draft him and let him develop, he'll be in the CHL. He's 18, not AHL eligible yet, so probably if I draft him, just leave him in the C, let him cook for a bit, and then pick him. I don't really have the need to. Yeah, have a backup plan. I'm actually, we'll interview Eklund. And I'll just pick his readiness, and then just dip. I found pretty much everything else from the scouts. I think I can find this out from the scouts too, but okay, so he wants to develop too. It's fine. Might as well go for the strengths. Okay, it looks like he's a playmaker. Alright, so between those two, if Brandon Clark does get taken, I'll take Eklund. I don't really see the need to take McTavish. I don't really like him that much. We'll just toss some things on the trade block. What is going on? So they have me as a seller. What in the hell is this? Or a buyer, I'm sorry. They have me as a buyer. I don't know why I would possibly be a buyer. I'm definitely putting Ekholm on the block. Definitely putting Schultz on the block. I'm going to move one of the two of them. Probably Schultz. If I can move Schultz and keep Ekholm, that might be fine, but who else could I move that's on the older end of the age spectrum? I mean, Foligno, he's 29. I have his contract. What's his extension? I can't see. I think he's 3x3 on the extension, which isn't specifically like cap draining. 82, if he does develop, that's not going to be the worst thing. I could throw Klingberg on there, but I'm going to get a billion trade requests. I don't think I'm going to trade Klingberg right away. Who could I trade? Definitely not trading anybody this far down. No way in hell. I mean, Ekholm and Schultz are the big ones. I mean, I guess I'll see what happens for Foligno. Is there anybody else who could be better? I want to hang on to Klingberg for at least a season. I definitely want to hang on to Kopp. Roy's cheap, so I don't really see him. He's in the AHL. Wenberg is older. Throw Wenberg on the block if anybody really wants him. For a good deal, I'll trade Wenberg. And I think people are going to want current picks. So I'll throw my 5th there. Because I'd want to trade up. So my surplus, I don't particularly think I need to mess with this. I don't want players though. I definitely do not want players. Anything but freaking players. Well, older players, I guess. I don't need older players. I need younger players. So I'll go down from 17 to like 25. probably forwards and D. I can really have them in any role. I just need their age to be down. Because if I'm going to actually completely build for the future, then I'll do that. I guess I can turn everything on first 3 rounds here. In the future, I'll add the first on there because any future pick would help at this point. I think I'm really playing to contend in, I'd say, within Klingberg's lifespan. So at Klingberg's peak is whenever I want to be contending. Because Klingberg's going to be pretty good. I think he'll probably peak around 80, 88 or 89. So we'll see. First thing to do here in the draft is price Ekholm. I'm sure teams are going to want to... Oh, he's got a lot of trade value. So I think he can... Oh my goodness, I can get a first and a second for him. There's a lot of people. I can get Ponomarev. Ponomarev wouldn't be bad. 29th overall. Yeah, I can get a lot for him. I don't think anybody's going to... I could get Fleury after all, that's funny. I know I was talking about getting Fleury. So out of these people who aren't willing to give me a first, I wonder if I can trade a top or a package to get him into... to get myself in the top 5. Ponomarev, top 6 potential. He's a 63 overall, and he was... I think I can get somebody better than him, because, I mean, that's essentially trading a second-round pick for... What if I trade up into... Is anybody moving at all in these... in the top couple? Alright, I was not expecting Ekholm to carry that much value. I mean, his contract is absolutely incredible. I mean, I could try to trade up to get Ekholm, or Eklund. Sorry, I could try to trade Ekholm and something else to get Eklund. It's 4th overall. I mean, is it worth gunning for anybody in, like, higher than that? Boro, I mean, I don't even know where he's from. He's from the Liga, so that would be like Finnish chemistry. I mean, taking a D-man doesn't make... I mean, unless I get Boro, who has an absolute buku amount of abilities. I wouldn't take Kennins. That would be way too risky. I could take Pageau and Clark. But realistically, I would take Eklund and Clark, so I wouldn't be picking in the top 4. Unless Eklund gets picked. I mean, is there anything else that I see in these things? Like, I see Sillinger's Thunderclap, but his Parasol, that's like probably Russian chemistry, yeah. I would say that any of these... I can maybe try to trade up and get Gunther, because he definitely has abilities. He has at least one. I mean... No, he has Big Rig at 170 pounds? Hold on. I mean, his skating is a C. So, I don't think he's going to be terribly fast. I don't see myself giving up. I mean, the clock already kind of ran on that. The ability to get the first pick, so we'll sim it anyways. See what happens. Yeah, they took Boro. I mean... No crap on that. I picked 5th overall. Do I want to try to get both? Both Eklund and him? I mean, worst turns to worst. I could definitely get that first and the second. That is really close in value. I mean... I could get another first and another second, which that second would absolutely get me that goalie. absolutely get me that goalie. I think that's probably the route I'm going to go, because getting Eklund, I mean, a top 5 talent. I can get 2 top 5 talents. Like, I am not going to miss with picking twice in the top 5. But then again, I could also get a depth player and a top goalie if I decide to go that route. Again, like, I could take the defenseman in the third round and then pick twice in the second. I'm essentially getting more picks, and I get that crazy goalie. But I mean, my goalie situation is good enough that I think I should probably try to trade high. Like, I mean, if I trade Ekholm, like, this is crazy future move. Like, I'd be selling out. I don't think they would take just Ekholm for the 4th overall pick. That wouldn't be very smart of them to do that. So we'll see who's down here. Trade 2 skaters for that. I mean, my skaters are just dog water. He's an 80. He's 26 years old. Klingberg's older. Foligno, I plan on probably keeping around for. Foligno's got okay trade value. I mean, Wenberg's probably the first one that I see that would. No, I'd trade Roy first. I mean, Ekholm and Roy for the 4th might be possible. 4th overall. They obviously, we'll move up a little bit. Trade value. See if there's anybody I can move that I really do not want. I did want to move Schultz, and I think I could trade Schultz for something else. But I mean, if it takes Schultz to get this pick, then I will. But first, I'm gonna price him and see if he's valuable enough that I can slide in another trade. We'll price him while this 30 seconds runs out, and then I'll reset the clock. That's not what I wanted to do. Schultz, what do you wager? A second and a third. Second and a third. So pretty much, it gets a second and a third. I mean, like, I'd be waxing my defense class. I have Magnuson in another franchise, and he actually turns out to be awesome. So, I mean, I have enough trade value to get this 4th overall pick, but I don't think I'm going to trade both Ekholm and Schultz. Ekholm is going to be necessary to get it. I'm not trading Rob Thomas. That is suicide. Roy didn't work. Let's try Wenberg. Alright. I think they think that's really low. I could throw in another draft pick here. 4th, maybe. You do want a 4th. Alright, so they obviously, I think they want a little bit more trade value wise. Let's. They have anything on block? Okay, so you're kind of in the same area as I am. Let's part with Schultz, I guess. I mean, having 2 top 5 talents, and I'll be picking for a little bit of depth later on. For the future picks, I can use, I guess, to get it. I kind of want to sit on this for a little bit, because I definitely could manage. I definitely could manage to draft well in those later rounds. And I have more chances to fill out. But I mean, it's a top 4 pick. Wow, okay, they're really, really, really stiff. Alright, that is. I might end up wildly overpaying for this. With a 4th, this will be my last offer, and then I'll just, yeah, I'm just going to bounce out of there. I can definitely do way more with Ekholm. I'm not going to overpay for anything in this draft. Sim to my pick and see what's there. Okay, everything turned out exactly the way that I thought it would. Snag up Brant Clark. Just to make sure he he's a cycle, which is bad, but his skills are kind of crappy. Tavish, I could take Gunther. We'll take Brant Clark. And then, okay, he turned out to be a 73. So for somebody who's picked in the top 5, that's about probably what you would expect it to be. I mean, I could trade up to try to get Gunther, but let's see what I can do here for Ekholm and Schultz. Let's move Schultz first. I definitely want to get rid of him pretty quickly. I don't really see myself packaging. I could get 2 seconds for him. And a third now. I could get a third now. So the only thing that third could be useful for is getting that goalie. But they're also giving me Swayman. So having Swayman, let's take a look at what he's like. I think Swayman's really good. Oh my, okay, that's... Wow, okay, his stats are incredible. His starter potential. He's 22 years old. So... I really would absolutely not need to take that goalie then. I mean, I don't need to take that goalie as is. But, I mean, here's the thing. So, there's another trade for Swayman, I think, right? Where I get 2 seconds in Swayman. If that's the case, that would be kind of a throw not to take. Swayman's going to have mad trade value. I mean, I could take a look at some of these other prospects here. I mean, in any universe, do I get 2 seconds? With this Killinen guy, I do. And with this Dufour guy, I mean, I don't see either of those guys shaping up to be anything. I mean, I could take Swayman, but I have 2 good goalies. I have Jari, which if I take that, I trade Jari away now, in my opinion. Well, let's see what I have. Okay, so I have Vanacek, Luukkonen, and Jari. So Luukkonen's going to turn out to be elite. Hopefully. Luukkonen's going to be in the AHL, just absolutely mopping up minutes. I could trade Jari. Let's see what Jari wagers here. Nobody wants Jari. Alright, that's cool. That'll be a deadline move. I mean, my goalie future is absolutely set. So do I try to take a chance on that goalie or not? I mean, I don't want Swayman. Because I'm missing out on a skater prospect if I do take that deal from Boston. So Schultz, moving him for 2 seconds probably is the move. I do not need... Alright, make your pick. McTavish. Yeah, I seriously do not see... I need Schultz. Ended up really good in a franchise mode of mine. Killinen, obviously, is 2 seconds in a forward prospect. Can I get 2 seconds in a D prospect, maybe? Here's a 54th overall. I think it's going to boil down to which has the higher second. Okay, here's the 59th overall. Here's the 43rd. But that also gets a 4th. and a wing prospect. So a 43rd overall, is that way better than anything with 2 seconds? I think it's going to thank me later if I take 2 seconds. And that's really what I want to do. So I have a choice here, but I'm not taking 2/3 because I can get 2 seconds. And I usually, generally speaking, here's a 54th. I think the 54th in the 2 second deal is probably the best. So the 54th is way better. There's a D prospect there, but I also have Brant Clark, so do I really need to worry about that? Do 4. This is like the only one that really catches my eye. This do 4 guy is top 9 potential. Wow, okay, he is very bad. He is very bad, but that's like 2 seconds and a 5th. Schultz, you ain't probably going to be useful to me. Trading away Schultz and Ekholm would be dumb. So if I trade Schultz, I might keep Ekholm. And just see if he does turn out to be fine. I mean, Schultz is going to get moved no matter what, so I'd say I'd probably take it. So right now, I could use Ekholm to get another first. And then utterly load up on the future. Brant Clark's going to take Ekholm's spot. If I keep Ekholm, I can see him maybe being good for 3 to 4 seasons. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to keep Ekholm until the deadline. And if he... Well, if I keep Ekholm until the deadline, I'm not going to probably get very many picks out of it because the season hasn't been decided. If I trade Ekholm, it'd be best to do it now. What can I get? I can get a low first and a second for him. And that would really, really cement a tank season. I mean, my forwards ain't going to win anything, so let's see if I can do something for that. And I'll keep on to Klingberg, obviously. He's got 2 more years in the tank than he does. I could draft a D partner for, what's-his-face, Clark. But I'd really want to get a forward. What forward could I even get that would be worth trading away Ekholm for? There's a couple Swedes, that's cool. Borgo, maybe has abilities, possibly. Down in here, this ability right here is what I'm looking at. Or this area right here. But they also do not likely have potential. But the fact that on Dean, having those abilities show up with having bottom 6 potential makes me think he doesn't actually have bottom 6 potential after all. So maybe he doesn't. Peterson, he's American. I mean, there's a lot of options that I can take. I'm going to be picking like 3 freaking times in the second round. I think this is like kind of spelling me reaching down and taking Ratty. So that would definitely make me feel a lot better about trading away Ekholm. If I can somehow get Ratty. So yeah, let's see what I can do for Ekholm. He's 86-31 at his absolute peak. Let's take a look at the defenseman rotation here again real quick. So, I've got Brant Clark, and I feel that at the end of Ekholm's contract, let's try to reason through this a little bit. At the end of Ekholm's contract, Ekholm, so lop a year off of that, it would be I'd have Ekholm for 2 more years this season and next. Or actually, no. I think so, yeah. I'd have him for this season and next. So he'd be 33 years old at the end of that. He would probably hang around an 86. There's absolutely no chance he develops. Brant Clark is probably going to be in the 83 range, maybe. Would anybody be higher than that? Chernak, I can see him being up at, yeah, there's no reason I have to not trade away Ekholm. Because, I mean, so I can get the 22nd overall pick, 29th overall, just taking a look through. I mean, I just don't know, like, what. I'd probably want to pick a guy for myself. We'll see what I can get here. I mean, yeah, I just really want to hold on to Klingberg for a little bit, because he might get better. He might not. And for, yeah, okay, so 22nd overall is, I think, the best thing that I have so far. I could get 2 seconds, second next year, a couple seconds next year. All of these are, okay, so it's a second next year, and I get the Steen guy. So this is the best pick that I have available. I could be 6 picks below that if I feel that Puistila is way better than Steen. I mean, I just don't see how it would. Ponomarev wouldn't be a terrible pick, but that would kind of be a throw considering I'd pick in the first round this year. This would actually pick in the second round this year. And have Bocage. How good is Bocage? Bocage. I probably butchered that too. He was picked in the 3rd round, so that's like a 3rd, but he's a Canadian with a top 6 forward potential. I mean, if you take a look, I mean, you can see the potential pretty much anywhere. So, I mean, this has been on the block for a while. Steen, I don't presume would be anything incredible. He's 23. So, apples to apples, he is... I mean, I'm winning both of these trades, because, I mean, look, that trade value, that's definitely smaller on my end. So I get a second next year, or I can have a second this year. I mean, that's just, it kind of depends on, do I want to pick this year, or pick 6 picks higher, and then have a second next year. I mean, I could absolutely reach down and take Ratty with that first, but I don't know if that's the right move. So to kind of secure, I mean, having a next round pick or next year pick would be smarter, and then taking a higher. Oh, they're both next year, 28th here. But I mean, yeah. So I guess I could pick 29th, which is 7 picks down. So I'll take a look at the draft. I've got quite a few minutes to decide on what I'm gonna do here. See what's in that. What's the difference in talent between that 22nd? So I could, up here, that would pretty much guarantee me anyone from any one of these forwards that I was looking at. Anything below that, I would pick 29th. And that would pretty much put me at picking Yandel. And Peterson, one of these two guys. Or I could take Iorio or Hawkins with that pick. He'd be 32, so it'd be a little bit of a reach, but I mean, Yandel has AHL top 6 potential. That's pretty bad. So looking at any of these guys, is there anybody who really excites me more to wait a season? I mean, realistically, I'm picking in the second either way. And from what I remember, so Ratty is projected to go 38th overall. My pick is going to be the 36th. That is scary close. That is unbelievably close to where he's going. If somebody reaches down and takes him, that's pretty stupid. That's pretty dumb. I mean, I don't exactly want to miss out on taking him. I'm pretty set on having him as my big forward prospect this year. I mean, obviously, if I trade up for a first, I got a bigger forward prospect, but as it stands right now, Ratty's what I got. So, I believe the Avalanche. So it's the Bruins, the Avalanche. So the Avs were the one who offered another pick this year. I think, where do they pick in the second round? They pick 30th in the second, which would put them at 63rd. That is so far below. And Boston obviously doesn't pick, because they would be probably offering me one in this round. So they would be picking... Could wait a year. But is there anybody... Besides that goalie, bro? That goalie is like... low-key exciting me. Like, that is really exciting me. That goalie. So what I say, 62, 63? Hjalmarsson might be around. He's Swedish. Eriksson could be a D-man if I go back and like keep going back and forth. I think I picked twice in the second round already. Obviously, any of these guys. So I already have the 21st pick in the second round. So with that, I kind of need to strategize that once I decide if I want to pick down here. What kind of prospects am I looking at? Roy, top 9 forward. That's probably who I would pick there. This is what the Avalanche pick, right? There's definitely options. I could get better things, or I could take the goalie. So that second round pick, I'd pick 3 times in the second. I would absolutely use one to get. So I picked 21st in the second. 33 plus 21 is 50, 54. Put me at Allen. Or Quenneville. There's not too much here that wouldn't be reaching up, which probably isn't going to be possible. He is from Liga. I think that flag is that Norway. I think that's Norway. But he probably has too. I mean, it wouldn't be death to pick a Norwegian defenseman. It wouldn't be the end of my future, especially considering he probably has at least one of those 2 abilities. So in this area, there's nothing that specifically excites me between like Milson. So okay, so I'm picking at Allen. Realistically, I'd want to procure a pick that's higher enough to get Milson, because Allen is a big drop off from Milson. I just don't see how that would be beneficial at all. Okay, clock was reset. Definitely don't want to sim. Let's take a look and see. Would I want to pick twice this year? Is it worth snagging one of those guys, or rolling the dice on next year and picking? So I'm picking high, and I'd want to get Ratty with that pick, bro. I need to get Ratty with this, because if I don't get Ratty, that pick is relatively chalked. Medvinov, I could possibly pick Johnston. I don't know why I even watch listed him. Oh, does he have abilities? He has a bouncer, but I mean, Bolduc doesn't turn out well. If I don't have Ratty, then that pick is pretty much useless. I kind of want ammo to trade up a couple picks to maybe get that first pick of the second round. I mean, I'm going to be getting a first either way. I could take Ratty with a first. I could reach down and snag him. The Sabres and the Ducks, neither of them are moving. I could trade up into a low first. Here's 32. With the Canadians, I could move into that 32nd spot. Snipe Ratty there. Oh. Okay. So, in that area that I would be drafting at, because usually the computers draft according to the CS rankings, it's pretty set that, okay, so Ratty's down here at 38. That's 2 picks below mine. Somebody could definitely outreach me and take him there. I'm going to want to trade up if possible. If it's not possible, I'll roll the dice. So, where was the area that I was seeing that one pick in? Okay, so I do kind of want to also trade up and snag Milson too, who's only a couple picks above where I'd be picking. He's like literally 2 above. I can pull that off, no problem, with like a 2nd and a 7th, or 2nd and a 6th, or 2nd and like a bum skater. Down here, I mean, that Avs pick is gonna be down in this area. I'll be picking lower if I take that, so I think I take the Boston deal. I'll take the Boston deal. If I don't take the Boston deal, I think I'll be kicking myself in the ass for it. It's just, it kind of scares me missing out on one of those better forwards. I don't want to second guess myself on it. There's Boston. Okay, so just to confirm what it was is a O-Cage guy, and I still get that we stole a guy, but it... Oh, sorry, I get Steen, who's Swedish, and he could fit in pretty well, and I just don't know how the Bruins are going to do next year. I assume it would probably be better than where the Avs are at, or worse than where the Avs are at, so I'd be drafting higher. So in total, I'm making out a lot better with this deal, so I'll accept that before I second guess myself. It's painful. I'm really stacking Boston, so do that, but tank season, baby. Let's go. Gonna be, okay, where am I drafting? Again, the 22nd. I don't think I want to trade up, so I'm probably just gonna skip the entire way down to my pick. Yeah, I've already pretty much liquidated half of my skater assets. So I picked 22nd. I'm going to have one of these forwards here. It's just going to be dependent on what's available at the time. If there's none of them, I don't know, I might as well delete the franchise because that's ridiculous. So sim to my pick. So I did see that they took Ostapchuk. However you pronounce that. Okay, so Dean, Bourgault, and Othman, all there. Othman seems to have the most potential. What's his skills like? His skills are really good. He may have wheels. Bourgault looks like he has a zone ability. That. Oh, and Dean also. So all 3 of them, I'm picking between 3 people who I'm guessing would have an ability. I don't see why they wouldn't have an ability. So, okay, so out of the skills, they're all pretty much the same. Like, Dean has no weaknesses. What about the scheme fit? Is there anything that can like differentiate? They're all behind the net. they all have the same scheme fit, bro. Like, okay, so 2 years, it looks like, okay, so Othman is probably the least likely to have an ability, but he also has a higher potential. Okay, so in the first round, realistically, I'm getting somebody who's either going to be a top 9 or a top 6. Borgo's a center. Got a weak character, I guess, but he has a semi-accurate zone ability. I feel like all three of these are going to be top 9s. My gut says they're all going to be top 9s. Hmm. Mull it over for a second here. Yeah, there's really absolutely nothing to differentiate between them. I think probably Borgo is the one I'm leaning towards because I have more chance to get an ability. His potential is a bottom 6. That's an inaccurate potential, so that could go the entire way up to top 6 or the entire way down to AH. There's no way he's going to have an AHL potential. No chance he has an AHL potential. With coaching, he could be good. So do I roll the dice on these X factors or take the safe route on Othman? They didn't have a big pick. So I feel like I want to take chances. I want to have the ability to... I seriously don't think he has any of those abilities, but with the chance to... I mean, he's not going to be anything worse than that. You know what, if I'm rolling on Ratty, if I could kick myself, I'm going to call timeout here. I don't think I'm really going to need a timeout in those later rounds. I got 5 of them. So if I'm going to roll the dice on Ratty, I kind of do want the safer option. Getting somebody I know is good. He might have wheels, he might not. Borgo, I don't think has that ability. Take safe, or do I risk it? You know what? I've got... What is Dean? I don't think I take Dean. I'm gonna risk it. You know what? Could come back to bite me in the butt later on, but I'm gonna risk it. Borgo, I'll take him. He turned out to be a top 6. Let's go. Okay. My gut instinct was correct. Does he have the abilities or does he not? Oh, he has Magnetic and Crease Crasher. Okay. That's a little bit better than I was expecting. Actually, I thought he was only going to have Total Eclipse. That is awesome. Okay. That is very, very, very good. I made the right decision there. I almost took the safer pick, so I'm going to sim a couple of picks and see what happens with Ratty. I think that somebody's going to outreach. Let's see what happens with the guy that I wanted, Othman. Let's see what he... Okay, he had an ability, so either way it looks like I wouldn't have lost. Borgo had the extra ability though, so I definitely picked the right one between them. I'm going to try to trade up, because I'm not going to risk losing on Ratty. I think realistically the highest I want to trade up is... Oh, okay, I'm starting to edge close to where I want to be on that move. I'm not going to trade both seconds because I want to have that other second in my back pocket. So let's try to target maybe the Avs. Actually, that would be trading up really too high, I think. Trading up to the Habs, I think, could secure Ratty. So I think they're looking more so to trade down than anything. They're not. Okay, so that 36th overall pick is the one that I would use to get him. Having that 54th overall pick. So I trade the 36th. Or, well, I trade the 54th. Was that much of a drop off? I'll try trading this one. Actually, it is a huge, huge difference. We'll see what they want. Return. Any older folk that I can maybe move. They do want Foligno. Maybe moving Foligno. Nah. Nah. Let's see if he's even there. Because I mean, I'd trade 2 picks for it. Lose out on somebody else. So I'll sim the entire way to the pick that I wanted to trade for. The Habs here. Okay, Ratty is still on the board. And this could turn out to be pretty fatal if I do mess this up. I'm not moving any of my skaters at this point. My skaters, I'm very happy with them. Trading up this 36th overall pick. And my controller dies. So... meantime, I'll try to find the controller. The plug for my controller. Would it be the worst thing if I just stayed in my pick and not moved? Would that be a fatal mistake? I mean, Ratty realistically isn't going to be franchised. I don't think he's going to be franchised, but at the same rate, he's also not going to be bad, and it's decreasing a risk for me. So I'm really praying that Montreal accepts this deal, if I can even get it off in time. So I'll trade this 2nd and maybe like a 6th, possibly. Actually, I probably could maybe get away with trading a 7th here. Trading... yeah, I mean, that 7th probably ain't going to be that useful. Yeah, let's go. Okay, that's solid. The 7th isn't going to be anything crazy. At least that way I know nobody's going to overstep and take my guy. He turns out to be bad, so be it. Okay, he has elite potential. Definitely the right call. Absolutely the right call. And he's got all these abilities. Let's go. Let's freaking go, baby. A-Ratty, that's my franchise boy, baby. Atu Ratty. That's our shmoney G. That is our shmoney G. Alright, now that's enough trading up for the day. I'm happy with where I'm at. I don't want to move anybody else off my roster because then I'm losing out on my future. I'm gonna sim to my pick. See what's left. I mean, realistically, oh, Milson got picked the pick before I went there. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm realistically, I traded up to get Ratty. I'm a winner. I'm a champion. Like, is the goalie still there? Is he on the board? Do I take the goalie? Because that goalie could carry some big fat trade. Oh, Wallstedt is there. Oh. Okay. Okay. So now, this poses a problem. I'm going to be picking... when do I pick in the 3rd round? I think I'm only like a couple picks away. And by a couple picks, I mean like 15 away. Wait, I pick again in the... no, I don't pick again in the 2nd. So, I'm calling a timeout. let's see. So, Wallstedt is there. That's kind of the one that I'm seriously looking at. That's about 10 picks away. Wallstedt definitely could get picked. I mean, I pick in the third overall. I could get a serviceable D-man. Literally, I have my 2 franchise players that are going to develop. I have my franchise forward, I have my franchise D-man, I technically have my franchise goalie, but I could snag another franchise goalie and just somehow trade away both of the starters that I have right now at some point in the future. I mean, do I need him? No. I absolutely don't need him. This could be good here. Stillman. He's not going to be there at my pick. So, it's 69th overall. I could take Riker Evans at D. He's probably going to be... Actually, I know Riker Evans turns out to be good in like 3 seasons. He's probably better than Nolan Allen because he has that ability to do that. So skipping out on a D-man isn't the worst thing. Skipping out on a forward, on the other hand... What forwards do they have there? Don't even ask me to pronounce that name. He could fit in very well in the scheme if he's still hanging around. R. Curry, Rochette. I've got a slew of Canadians to pick from. An absolute slew of Canadians to pick from. My forwards are developing pretty well. I'd probably take Riker Evans with that pick. I would be missing out on the chance to just snag somebody with stupid trade value. And flip him in the future for like a winning player. Picking here in the second round, I think it's a throw not to take the chance on Wallstedt, because if I miss him and he does turn out to be good, then I'm gonna look like a real idiot. So we'll do that. Turns out to be bad. I'm gonna live with my choice. Okay, he turned out to be elite. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go. Oh, and he has 4 abilities. Okay, so I've definitely cemented my future in net. Not that I didn't already have one. I am incredibly happy about that pick. That turned out okay. So I got my boy. Sim to pick. We'll just get this draft over with. I know that like I've won this draft. Scouts came up huge for me. Sfozil is pretty much a guaranteed elite. I don't think Riker Evans turns out to be elite, but you mean he's the same risk reward. I want a Canadian. Riker Evans could be Brant Clark's D pair in the future. I'm not taking a forward. I know I'm missing out on something good if I lose Evans. I'll pick another Canadian forward next season. Oh, Riker Evans is elite. Okay, I was right. I was right. Let's go. Okay, so pretty much everybody that I've picked so far has great potential. And I'm so set with where I'm at that I'm not going to trade ever again, pretty much. So Butler, I did watch list him. I don't know why I did. He could be a grinder on that 4th line in the future. See that crash the net strategy. He is a grinder. He has that small elite potential. There's our bust friend. I mean, building around Ratty might not be a bad idea either. Graham Sword is awesome too, but I already have my pick there. So Cameron Butler probably seems to be the move, unless I really go down here and try to get Tukinen to try to appease my Finnish friend. I mean, Ratty's going to develop either way, but having his chemistry is going to be big. Like, why wouldn't it be? Realistically, though, if I'm going to develop around Ratty, I want somebody better than the 3rd round pick. I should probably take Canadian here. It just really all depends on what I want. Do I want to take Canadian or do I want to take Finnish? Graham Sword could be a good pick, but I mean, my D future is just ridiculous. I have Riker Evans. I have all those D-men. I mean, taking a Finn could bring the Infinity Stone balance to Memphis. But do I want to take Butler? I did watch list him. Does he have the chance to have any abilities? Does not. He has to crash the net. I mean, Tukinen has the exact... You know what? Why not? Big Tukinen. Gold for the chemistry. He has top 6 potential, obviously. Turns out to be fine. Leave him to cook in the AHL for a while. Send him to my next pick. Okay, so they want to trade up and give me a 7th. I don't know what's at this pick. But you know what? That could give me an extra player further down the line, and I don't seriously see they're probably gonna take a goalie. I don't seriously see myself really needing. Crazy, did I accept it or not? Hold on, let's. So there's Suni. I did watch Suni. Oh, because he has the chance to have 2 abilities. Alright. You know what? I've kind of went on that Finnish locker room tear. Continue on it. Not taking... Does he have the abilities or not? Gamble on it. It's the 5th round, bro. It's the freaking 5th round. He doesn't. Oh well, if he doesn't develop, then sick. I should definitely pick Canadian for the rest of... Look at this, bro. Like, I just want to, like, take a second to appreciate the fact that I have all these good goalies. I think I trade Jari away right away, honestly. I want to see if I was an idiot and accidentally declined the trade. I don't think I did. I think I accepted it. I'm pretty sure I actually got it. Yeah. I did. So we'll send my pick. Draft Canadian American from here on out. I know I said that I wanted to draft Canadian American the entire way through, but the fact that I actually was able to snag Ratty and have the chance to build around him, I mean, that's pretty inseparable. I'm gonna stick those 3 together probably on the team. Here's Bloom. Is there anybody with relatively okay potential at this point in the game? A couple of elite possibility defensemen. I want to take a Canadian forward here. Here's Gill. Justin Gill. Okay, your skills are cheeks. Probably don't want that. Bloom. AHL top 6 forward potential. Skills are also cheeks. Probably favor Gill here. Corvo, he's American. He's a bottom 6 potential behind the net. 5 years away. Compared to him, you're 5 years away too. Top 9 potential. Between you two, you've got the higher potential chance. So I'll take Gill. Does have top 9 potential. Alright, and that seems to be it for the draft. So let's take a look at what we got here. Clark, Borgo, Ratty, Wallstedt, Evans, Tukinen, Suni, and Gill. And out of those picks, I feel like I've gotten a couple of huge steals. I mean, Ratty at 32nd overall, even though he was projected to go lower than that, he has so many abilities. I've picked players in the 3rd, 4th round that are like way worse than him, and they turned out to be incredible, like 83, 84 overalls by like their 4th or 5th year. Like, our future is pretty much set at this point. I don't even know if I have anybody to re-sign. I think everybody's pretty much okay. Sorry, Yarvi. I've got so much cap. So we'll see what I have here. I think actually, I need to sign all of my rookies first. Brant Clark. Yeah, take whatever you want. Ratty. Take whatever you want. Look at those abilities. You gotta be kidding me, bro. Borgel. Turned out to be worse than Ratty. But the fact that I was even able to get him in the first place is a good thing. Dufour. This is the guy I traded for. Forgot about that. And then I have Suni. So sign all of these guys here. Get done with them. Okay. Now, need to go to... Oh, okay. That's what I was doing. RFA is sorry, RV. He's young. I mean, I could probably make him work. 39 million cap. You want 1 season? 24. I mean, well, that's kind of like a prove-it contract. That's fine by me. Let's see who's in the pending free agent pool, if there's anybody. I don't think I can save up for anybody because I extended all the contracts since I'm doing an expansion draft. I mean, Hudon is definitely the best player there. I'd probably sign Sarella just because he's a 77. And another thing that I thought about, another big thing that I was considering all day today was stacking the AHL. I really want to load up my A. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Burnaby Aces. I'll check on this after this. If anybody declined the contracts, obviously nobody did. I need to not forget to sign the goalies like an idiot. So I've done that before in the past. But I want to stack the Aces. That's what the name of the AHL team is. I want them stacked. So, this also poses an interesting problem. I think I trade away Jari pretty much right away. I think I instantly get rid of him. Because that takes away playing time from people who I'm actually, like, trying to develop. Luukkonen, that's sick, but, like, I mean, neither of these guys are going to get playing time, realistically. Like, who do I believe in more at that point? My goalie coaches, I think, are good. So this guy's got abilities. Luukkonen, do you got abilities? You don't got abilities. Alright, so I might stick you in the backup position. Try to wait Jari for, like, prospects or draft picks or something. Like, that's kind of the problem, though, because I'm not going to be able to develop everybody else. CD sign, I assume you probably will. Yeah, you do. Alright, now, send to free agency here. We'll sign my... Alright, I'm definitely editing this trade block here. If you make me a buyer, you're stupid. Alright, you're stupid. Good to know. Definitely not trading you away. Foligno. I mean, I guess I could trade away Vanacek, too. Either Vanacek or Jari. I mean, the future is just so bright as it is that I can hang on to Jari, trade away Vanacek. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, obviously I'd choose freaking Jari, but... I'm looking to trade one of you two. Yeah, I definitely want to trade away Jari because he's so much more expensive. Yeah, that's a great surplus. Current picks, though, yeah, that's fine. And the goalie, definitely put the goalie on the surplus. I don't know if it matters any, but... We'll slap any goalie, honestly. I got a surplus of them. So, I mean, if you want to offer for either of the other two guys, if you give me something absolutely spectacular for one of them, I'm fine maybe getting a first. Okay, I should be fine on contracts. I definitely am fine on cap space. Let's see how much I got. I got 39 million in cap. Okay, I guess I was grossly mistaken. I see Tony D is 25. He's an 80 overall D-man. I mean, to fit the vacuum that I left with getting rid of Ekholm, I'm essentially replacing him for a cheaper option who's younger. I don't see how I could possibly lose that. He's only 25. Here's somebody who is really young. He's 20. 56. Let's see, when were you drafted? You're a 5th rounder, but you also want 1 mil. I hate saying like 1 mil is overpaid on anything because it really isn't. So yeah, there are definitely some options here. Perlini, I see why everybody wants him. I think I'm gonna try to offer Tony D. And I'll go above his wanted salary a little bit to 2.5 for 2 years. That's exactly what he wants. Then I'll get the rights to re-sign him. Parisi's older. I just want to stack my team with younger guys. I just don't see the need to do anything else. Sim a couple days and see. Foligno for Matthews. I'm getting rid of a draft pick, so no, I'm not going to do that. Please sign Tony D. That'd be sick. Nice. So to sign him to the AHL, it's not particularly what I was looking to do, but stacking the A would be awesome. The scheme fit isn't going to show for the A. I did sign Grabner once, so I'm going to look at two-way contracts now. See if I can get anybody for the AHL. It's like young. Here's 14. 14, I think it's 14. He's got good potential. He's only 24 years old. That's not that bad. He's the youngest one. So, I mean, I do have 41 contracts. I do want to have my good players getting playing time, my draft picks. The people that I draft, I always want to have playing. But, I mean, like, if he has a two-way contract, obviously being able to go between the N and the A is big. Big ability. I'm fairly sure everybody here is going to want to be a two-way. So, I mean, like, the only other person that I'd possibly look at signing is Grabner. I can do better than you. So I'll go down. I see that 24-year-old. I'll sign him and see if anything particularly happens with him. Besides that, I don't really need anything. I absolutely do not need a goalie. I absolutely do not need a goalie. I could trade away Luukkonen, no problem. Ooh. That is really tempting. Lena is 29. I could trade him for a second, a third, and a prospect. Okay, so I'm essentially flip-flopping thirds. I'm trading up in 23, gaining a pick in 22. That's a really good offer. But I mean, Foligno's still a good player. I mean, I'll leave it for now. See if maybe I can wager something a little better. That's not particularly better to me, so I'll only part with Foligno if it's something that's like crazy good. Alright, that's cool. That is definitely not worth it. I mean, I'm getting offers pouring in for Foligno here. Hopefully we can start a game or two. Or the stream ends here in about 20 minutes. So who was it that I wanted to move? It doesn't particularly hurt. I'd probably actually need to trade for a veteran presence too. I keep forgetting that's a thing, that I need to do that. So let's... Foligno, is he particularly going to develop? I mean... Third and a fourth. Third and a fourth. Can I somehow cheese a second out of this? I did see second somewhere. I mean, if I can, I'm probably going to get offered, if I get offered a second, I might bite. I'm going to offer an older folk here just so I have the veteran presence in the locker room. I'll offer 2 older ones, one for the N, one for the A, even if I have to scratch them. That's not a big deal. Yandel, Suter. Now, having somebody like this, sign them, instantly trade, that's breaking the system. That's kind of cheap. I don't want to do that. But, you know what? I've got the cap to spend. That would be kind of funny if I did pull that off. I've never really done that before. You're slightly higher rated. Let's go with overall here and just see if like I can sign somebody who's not absolutely complete dog water. You're 31. I'll sign Michael Bedker. You're pretty cheap. You can be a veteran presence. Sign you. Got 42. That's gonna be my 43rd contract. Sign another one for the AHL. Nolan, I'll sign you to the A. You're well a lot more expensive than Bedker is, comparatively speaking. Could sign both Yandel and Suter and trade them right away. If I could even get a freaking trade for it, even if it's like for a second. Like, I have the cap space. I don't know if, I mean, obviously if people wanted them, they'd probably be signing them. That's a little too cheap, and I don't want to be stuck with somebody who could actually help me win here. If I'm stuck with somebody who actually helps me win, that might be a bad thing, rather than a good one. I mean, do I risk being stuck with it? Yeah, honestly, like, I'll just do it with one of these players. Why not? Yeah, I could definitely get a pick. I could absolutely get a pick, like, at 7th. Just, like, send him away to a team that genuinely has cap. Foligno, I'm not getting any good picks. What in the world is that? If Yandel declines, it's literally not the end of the world. I genuinely don't need you. Okay, somehow you accepted that. Imagine the feeling once he figures out he's going to be traded right away. I honestly kind of feel bad. I made fun of one of my buddies the other day for cheesing the game and just like picking up gross contracts. Just like, I don't know, it's like an easy mode, but like this is definitely a video game move. Where even is he? You're over here somewhere. You know, it actually kind of is cool having him as my veteran presence. I could always just send one of those other couple guys down to the A. Where are you at? Who did I even pick up? Yandel? Oh, you've got a lot of trade value. Look at this. Oh, this actually kind of makes me sick. I can get a second. Ooh. Hot damn. Alright. Second and a bunch of prospects. I mean, I'm at... Alright. So it's essentially pick your poison. Like, what prospects do I want here? I'll do this off camera and let you guys know what I decide on. Because I could literally spend ages picking guys. Well, let's see if this other guy is still on the table. He's not. Okay. I had no idea what would particularly happen whenever I did that. Actually, that's gonna be my next move. Let's just decide on one now. I'll kind of do my outro as I trade my boy away. Where's he at? Alright, Yandle. So, next stream after, something along those effects, I'm going to want to... Okay, Reimer, I'm not taking you. Absolutely not. Unless there's a better pick than everything else. Take on that contract, but... Okay, so Broberg, Koskinen. But, kind of the point of doing... Or what I want to do, I'm sorry, what I want to do with these streams, I kind of want to... It gets boring even for me talking for ages. I can't talk for this long. It's so difficult, it's so hard on my voice. I'm a singer, I sing in my free time. You guys don't want to hear it, but that's going to be my job one day, teaching music. I don't want to just rattle off by myself every stream. I kind of want to mix it up a little bit and see what I can see, like who I can get on the stream. Like if somebody would want to get on, talk with me for a while, and just kind of help me carry so I don't have to do it all myself. I mean, if need be, I'm able to do it, obviously. I mean, I've done it for ever, but I don't know. I want to get people on the stream. Tomorrow, I'm going to stream during the day, since I have off of work. I'm going to do a daytime stream sometime in the afternoon. I'll keep you posted. I don't know when it's going to be. I'll probably be posting it in the community discords. Right now, it looks like the best trade between these is a second and third, and I take James Reimer, but I'd probably flip James Reimer for another pick. This pick would be, what, 2 years in the future? I think I see, yeah, it would be 2 years in the future, but second and third nonetheless. Yeah, so I want to do a daytime stream. I'm actually going to do different things at different times. Maybe do my franchise mode streams during the day and do like World of Chell streams at night. I mean, I work afternoons, so I could switch this series, since I'm sure everybody's on playing with their buddies now, to like a lunchtime type of deal whenever not a lot of people are playing. Maybe that could be something I do. Okay, second and third is probably my best option. So yeah, I do definitely want to get involved in other types of streams as well. I don't really want to... How do I put this? I don't really want to just do franchise mode, because it'll get boring for me eventually. It'll get boring for you. I think probably taking second and third is my best bet. And then just sucking James Reimer's contract down. Do that. And then see what I can do for Reimer. Even if it just means trading him for 7th. But I would like to... Actually, I could do a lot better than I was thinking of. I can get Tanev. Wow, okay, that's not that bad. Alright, Turbo. Turbo time? Is it going to be Turbo time in Memphis? How old are you? I think you might be older. You're 29, so it's not going to be terrible. Tanev is like low-key really good, but missing out on something that I could really use for the future. So hold on, who's better between Reimer and Jari? I know I hate using fine trade, but that's kind of what I'm gonna do. Yeah, we're kind of making a little bit headway on the subscriber progress to 100. Once I get to 100, obviously, that's going to be that big. I've got 3 seconds next year. I didn't even realize it. But obviously, I got that big idea coming at 100 subs. So please, please promote the stream. If anybody's watching up to this point, please promote the stream. Like, I really want to do this idea. I'm keeping it a surprise for you guys for that reason. And I just seriously don't see. Story and Rhyme are pretty comparable, but I seriously do not see how we can't pull it off. 100 subs, that's not that bad. We can get there. We're gonna need everybody's help, but we can do it. I think Blackwell's pretty young, but I don't think it would be worth 4th and a 5th. Personally, yeah, you're 28. That's not what I'm particularly looking for. 4th and a 5th for goalie is actually not that bad at this point. What I have, I mean, that's just something. I'm going to be picking a billion times next draft, but that's chill. Alright, I'm going to accept this one here and snag the Crackheads 4th pick. So, looking at my draft stock for next season. Oh, that's 2 years down the road, isn't it? What did I even trade for, bro? I traded for that and like a 6th. Yeah, it's the Calgary Flames 5th. Look at this. I picked like 5 times in the top 3 rounds. 4 times in the top 2. That's kind of nutty. Having my own picks obviously pretty useful. My team's going to be very unbelievably bad. I could have traded Jari away. I mean, I guess I could maybe trade Vanacek. Do I want to trade Vanacek? Let me know. Okay, Vanacek, nobody even freaking wants him. So, kind of what I'm thinking here. Vanacek has the chance to develop. I'm going to make Jari the backup. Cook Vanacek up a little bit. I don't know if I play Wallstedt every freaking game. I mean, both of these guys are going to be nuts. Like, I mean, I only have so much ability to play them. Wallstedt might be able to stay in the CHL. Is he able to stay in the CHL? That would be insane if he was. Oh, you're not from the CHL. No. Ah, that's tragic. That is actually tragic. Okay, you're 18, so you got time. But I also like want to use all that time to like get you up to like a 90. Like I've got the ability. Let's see like what I can possibly garner in the. Hey, nobody wants you. Now Luukkonen, on the other hand, people kind of want you. 2nd and the 3rd for Luukkonen. It's not the worst. See Giordano. That's old. I mean, if you guys maybe are seeing something that I'm not seeing on this, maybe that's... Both of them are elite. Like what do I even do here? Like, seriously. Like, if I were to have to pick one, what would it be? Vanacek's gonna be my NHL starter. I feel like he's gonna be probably the best out of the three. Wallstedt's gonna be the best out of the 3, in my opinion. Wallstedt actually has to have that playing time. Wallstedt can back up Luukkonen for now. I think I'm just gonna keep all 4 goalies because, like, holy shit, like, that's just good. All 4 goalies are good. I mean, they're all pretty young. Jari is absolutely going to be the backup. Like, I want to get to the point where I edit my lines. I'm going to sim to next season here. Pro scout calling. I wouldn't trade away players that you added so quickly. Did I ask? That's crazy. Foligno for like a 3rd. Decline. Luukkonen in a 3rd and a 4th. That's a little overpaid. Could do slightly better than that. A second and a third for fourth and a seventh and Luukkonen. No. Foligno, that's pretty bad. Is there anything crazy I can get for Foligno here? Not trading away Klingberg right away. Klingberg's going to be like our saving grace. Who the hell would be worth this much? Klingberg, never mind. Out of my grill, second and a third for Luukkonen and a fourth. I can do better than that. Decline. If I really wanted to trade away Luukkonen, then I could trade him away for a second and a third to begin with without having to get rid of picks. Foligno for third and a fourth. That is really tempting. Like, that is just absolutely stacking up on picks. Everybody seems to be really interested in Foligno, so I know I can get a third and a fourth. I could probably garner a trade that might be better than that. Unless I see something like that's utterly crazy in here, I'm not going to take it. Keep simulating through, please. Thank you. I feel like next episode is pretty much going to be like the entire season. Alright, let's see what I can do with these lines here. Do I purposely make the lines really bad? Do I want to automatically do that? No, I don't want to do that. Alright. So, Thomas is somebody I really want to develop. Richie is a nightmare in the locker room is another thing I noticed. Gaudette's a perfect fit. Lindblom's a perfect fit. Roslovic. I mean, I think Lindblom might be American too. If you're American, I might just stick you three together. Okay, you're Swedish. Never mind. Forget it. Foligno's American. I think. Roslovic fits pretty well everywhere. But the first line. Not good on the first line. Thomas is going to greatly benefit from being up here. Fabry. I just kind of want to match countries. These guys. America. Canada. Cop's American, but that's crazy. Because, I don't know. Kotkaniemi. He's my elite potential guy, right? Kotkaniemi is. Yeah, you have an elite potential, so I might think about throwing you up a little higher. Gaudette, I know it can play wing. Yeah. Really doesn't matter. I'll put you with a better forward here. Richie benefits pretty well from being with good players as well. Roslovic kind of developed together with Kotkaniemi. And Foligno. Foligno is a good veteran presence. Warren Fogle. And all these guys are going to essentially be fine. Holy balls, there's a -3 here. I definitely don't want that affecting Bear. If there's anybody I want that affecting, it's Klingberg. Cool. Alright. So the only old fart on this, in this area here is Klingberg. Klingberg, probably, there's absolutely no reason he shouldn't be on the first line. So Dermott and what's-his-face work really well together. So Dermott and Bear. Klingberg, man, does really bad down here too. Alright, let's put... Who's younger, Bear or Dermott? Same age. Does it really matter? Probably not. Ethan Bear's a right D. Klingberg's a right D. Dermott is a lefty, I believe. Yeah, Dermott's lefty. So we'll put Bear down a line. Dermott. Smack. Wait, I had a good line combo right there. What did I do? Middle. What was this? Yeah, there we go. Chernak. That's really sucks that he's going to be on the third line. I kind of want him on the first, actually, but Chernak is much better fit for the third. For whatever godforsaken reason. Good down there. That's crazy. Ghoul and Roy are about the same. I mean, like, realistically, I'm not going to have anything good happen here at all. I do want Kotkaniemi on here. We'll edit these lines off camera so you guys don't have to sit through this pain. Captains, probably just the 4 best players. Captain, definitely Klingberg. Roslovic and Kopp. The only thing that I'm really worried about is the goalie situation. But with that, it is 2 o'clock, so we're gonna be shutting this down for the day. Tomorrow I'm gonna try streaming during the day at some point. I do not know what time I'm gonna stream. I'll keep it posted. I'll try to get it going sometime during the daytime, like in the early to late afternoon, probably not in the evening. I don't want to compete with league. I don't want to compete with anybody's like work schedule. I'll maybe try to get it around lunchtime. But I'd like to move this series to the daytime so that maybe more people would be interested in watching this specifically. Because I mean, realistically, nobody's going to be playing Shell. Nobody's going to be want to watch World of Shell during the daytime. People might watch World of Shell during the evening. I don't know. It's just a little bit easier to do something community related at night whenever people aren't working. This could be something that people throw on during their work hours if they work or school. So hopefully maybe that change would be better. Yeah, that being said, give me 100 subscribers. We can do great things at 100 subs. I'm going to be doing that 100 subscribers special. I'm going to be working with a lot of different people for that special. I'm just saying, exciting things for that. I'm going to be at least working with 10 people minimum. I'll put it that way. 10 people. Like, it can mean a lot of things. Find it out. Give me to 100 subs. Community's going to be building. I'll probably start my own community Discord here pretty soon just so I can start work on it. But yeah, with that being said, hope everybody had a great time watching me draft, do contracts. Tomorrow starts the season, or today starts the season. Later today, it's 2 in the morning, so that peace everybody. Had a good time. Hope you guys did too, and see you in the next episode.